To everyone that's been hating on John Moxley and the Death Riders for months and months, screw you. I've been a fan since day one, and I've yet to switch up. Ever since I first started watching AEW, which was the Dynamite after Revolution 2022, John Moxley has been my favorite current day wrestler. I've just always found him super badass and cool, and plus he's a great wrestler. It's funny too because I've never really watched him as Dean Ambrose, so pretty much my only exposure to him is as John Moxley in AEW. That first Dynamite I tuned into was actually the very beginning of the Blackpool Combat Club with himself, Bryan Danielson, and William Regal. They later added Wheeler Yuta and Claudio Castagnoli to the group, and this is definitely a top 2 favorite faction of mine, this and the Hart Foundation. Everything they did I loved, whether it was as heels or faces, whether it was in singles or tag matches, blood and guts or anarchy in the arena, it was all great. 2024 is when John Moxley began doing a couple of different things. He and Claudio had their little tag team run, which I personally think should have gone on for longer because their stuff with FTR was some of my favorite stuff in AEW. That match they had on Revolution is still one of my favorite AEW matches ever. Then Moxley was kinda going in and out while he was the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, which, by the way, amazing achievement. And then All In took place. Pac won the Trios titles with Yuta and Claudio after the Lucha Bros disappeared, and Bryan Danielson won the AEW World Championship finally. Then it happened. They turned heel and kicked Bryan Danielson out of the group. They added Pac and Marina Shafir to their ranks and made Moxley the undisputed leader of the group, now called the Death Riders. Immediately, I was hooked. This was an absolutely insane moment that was so brutal but so engaging. I'm not lying when I say I'm a day one fan. Their early promos were real highlights for me. They were so eerie and sinister, with each member talking cryptically about different things while the music in the background kept building and building and building until it just sped up for the rest of the promo.
I'm no villain, and I'm no hero. On October 12th, I officially relieve you of duty.
This, plus the return of John Moxley's New Japan theme, will really seal the deal for me 100%. Just listen to this theme. It's easily my favorite current theme in wrestling, and when you hear this, you know shit's about to go down. John Moxley then defeated Bryan Danielson to win the AEW World Championship, and from this moment on, the landscape had changed. Moxley and the Death Riders now had an iron grip on the trios and world titles, and had begun a quote-unquote reign of terror, but to me, it was the beginning of something wonderful. I do remember thinking back to those early promos of theirs that they should have been called the New Paradigm, as it was just some quick throwaway line, but it perfectly represented what their goal was, to make AEW a better and hungrier company.
What is the new paradigm? It's very simple. You work for me now.
But the Death Riders is still a great name. But this was also the beginning of major criticism, which was just stupid to me because Moxley was doing great stuff with Darby Allin, Bryan Danielson, and Orange Cassidy. Not to mention, the group of him, Yuta, Claudio, Marina, and Pac showed great chemistry together and built each other up so much. Some said that there weren't initially any strong babyfaces opposing the group, but Orange Cassidy proved that he can hang as a main eventer in AEW, and that's just disrespect towards him for what he did and legitimize Moxley as a dangerous heel. And yeah, maybe some of Moxley's title matches could have been better, namely the 4-way at World's End, which should have been longer, and the Revolution match with Adam Copeland, but the rematch on Dynamite is still one of my favorite matches this year. And yet, time after time, there was just more hate on Moxley and the Death Riders. Everyone complained about the trios titles not being defended when they were, and yet, I don't see these same fans complaining about other champions not defending more, and Moxley was doing great this entire time. The goal of the Death Riders was to make everyone in AEW step up and show that they truly care about AEW. And of course, being heels, they did stuff like cheat, run away, and beat people up. That's the point. The booking of matches where members of the Death Riders would interfere and help Moxley retain the title was always fun because it gave you that hope that maybe he could be beaten down the line, but just not now. Too many heels try to toe the line of being hated but also really cool, which in turn makes them liked, but the Death Riders were great at being legit despicable and evil, making them more hated. Moxley's matches against Shibata and AR Fox proved he didn't need to cheat to win, but when the title was on the line, line, it was essential he remain champion. That's what I loved so much. The Swerve match at Dynasty was the epitome of this. So many fans whined and moaned about how they thought Swerve was gonna win when he obviously wasn't, which made it all the more fun for me that the Young Bucks came back to screw him over and help Moxley retain. And with the Death Riders feud with the Ops, this is also where you saw how essential it was to make the Death Riders so hated. Pat got injured, Moxley stood in, and the Ops won the Trios titles when Samoa Joe choked out Moxley. The pop when this happened told the whole story of what the Death Riders were achieving. The Evil had been defeated, but not all the way just yet. Anarchy in the Arena is also another incredible match that intertwined so many different stories, and Moxley, Claudio, Yuta, and Marina, in their element, delivered so much in this match. Every member of the Death Riders I love so much. Moxley has been doing great work as a top heel. Claudio is still just a beast. I love seeing Pac doing something meaningful in the company again. Yuta has been great as a brainwashed and geeky little jerk. Marina Shafir has really stepped it up in this role as well. She always got hated and memed for that one promo she did, but she's put in the work to be as good as she currently is, and she works so well in her intimidating role. Her battles with Willow Nightingale have also been great. I also can't forget about their mercenary Gabe Kidd from New Japan, who has also been a great addition to the group when he sporadically appeared. And I love the stuff that's been going on with Chris Statlander and whether or not she'll be joining the group. The most important thing though is what happened at All In this year. Hangman Adam Page earned himself a shot at the world title for a second time now after winning the Owen Hart Cup, and I already knew this was going to be a banger in terms of the story, the build-up, and the actual match. When Hangman and Moxley feuded in 2023, that was peak to be honest, and their first Texas Death Match was pure insanity. But this second Texas Death Match they had was even better to me. It was the perfect culmination of all the turmoil the Death Riders have caused since first forming, with all the different run-ins and returns. Will Ospreay, Bryan Danielson, Darby Allin, and Swerve Strickland coming together to neutralize the Death Riders as Hangman made Moxley tap out and win the world title was electric. Finally, the world title had been freed from the briefcase and it was now seen for the first time since October. It was a great moment, but we wouldn't have gotten this moment if Mox and the Death Riders hadn't put in so much work, and they did, since October. And now the new complaint is about the continuation of Moxley versus Hangman, but obviously the Death Riders weren't just going to disappear after All In. Just because Hangman ultimately achieved what they've been going for since the beginning of their story, doesn't mean they're just going to roll over and forget about him now. And plus, they still have other ongoing stories with Chris Statlander and Darby Allin, for example, so they can't just disappear or anything. It's ridiculous. But listen, I promise I don't care or pay attention this much about other people's complaints. All that matters to me at the end of the day is what I think. I just felt like it was important to bring this up when talking about my personal opinions on the matter. I could go on and on about all the other different things they got involved in as well, but the point of this video was just to point out why I love the Death Riders so much. I was immediately a fan the moment they turned heel and changed from the Blackpool Combat Club to this more sinister group. They kick ass and are the perfect opposition for the top babyfaces in AEW. When they enter an arena, you know what's about to go down. When any member of the group wrestles a match, you know it's going to be good. They're only just now getting respect now that Moxley's title reign is over, but I do think they all deserve a ton of much needed respect that they never got from the majority of fans for what they've done, especially Moxley. He had a great title run as a heel that everyone legit wanted to see lose, and has always done his best when called upon. That's why he's the ace of AEW, and that's why I love the Death Riders and have always respected them since they first formed. I am ride or die for the Death Riders. I might as well be a full-fledged member myself, to be honest. Moxley, you are my GOAT. Let me know down below what you think about all of this. Also, let me know what else I'd like to see me talk about on this channel. Like the video, subscribe for more videos, and yeah, thank you for watching.